Anybody who's seen my first two videos knows that I am a racing game fanatic. You probably would expect me to have a Logitech G25 like most racing game fanatics do, or at least a Driving Force Pro. Well, no, I actually own a Driving Force EX. And since the Driving Force EX shares so many traits that the Driving Force Pro has, what I wanted to do in this video is point out the key differences between the two and show how good the Driving Force EX is in action, and show that it's actually not an inferior wheel compared to the Driving Force Pro, and that it can hold its own, and it's very cheap to get a hold of. So let's start taking a look at some of the differences between the Driving Force Pro and the Driving Force EX. The biggest difference between the EX and the Pro is that the EX supports only 200 degrees lock to lock, as where the Driving Force Pro supports 900 degree steering, and that's pretty much the only difference there. The pedals for the Driving Force EX are identical to the Driving Force Pro until you turn it over, and there is no available spike strip like the Driving Force Pro has to keep the pedal assembly from slipping all around. It's something that I have had to find a way around, and I successfully did so. So it can be overcome. Another fantastic feature that the EX has over the Pro is it sports a PlayStation plug as well as a USB plug. Now, of course, you get the force feedback from the USB plug, but for games that don't support force feedback, they give you the PlayStation plug for playing games like Outrun 2006 or PlayStation 1 games like R4. Fantastic feature, and pretty much a deal breaker for me to get the EX instead of the Pro. One of the things that I worried about when I bought the Driving Force EX is how good the force feedback would be versus the Driving Force Pro. When I got the Driving Force EX home and I played with it, I found that the force feedback was really good, and then I just wondered how good was the Driving Force Pro compared to the Driving Force EX. So I got the Pro, and I actually think, this is my honest opinion, I think that the Driving Force Pro's force feedback was too strong, and it just felt really unnatural to me. And what I want to show you now is actually how good the wheel return and the force feedback actually is. So what we'll do is we'll come over to my game collection, and we're going to pick out Gran Turismo 4. It has the most sophisticated force feedback system out of any game, and this will definitely be the best one to test with. So we'll just turn on the PlayStation and slap it right on in there. So this is what you see most of the time when somebody's demoing a Driving Force wheel. You'll see that and they'll be like, hey, look how cool the force feedback is, but that's not what we're going to do here. I'm actually going to show you what it looks like while I'm driving. I'm going to show the screen and I'm going to show the wheel at the same time from a different angle, but let's go to that now. I need to point out that the purpose of this video is not to show off any kind of impressive driving skills, but to show off the force feedback and wheel return of the Driving Force EX. Take note that I have an unusually light grip on the steering wheel. Normally I don't do this, but for this demonstration I wanted to show how good the wheel return is when I'm coming out of the turns. You may notice while I'm going through these straightaways that my hands seem to be jittering left and right. That is not because I'm nervous, but that is actually because the force feedback wheel is actually pulling me in those directions, simulating the imperfections in the road. This not only displays the power of the Driving Force EX, but also displays the pure genius programming and attention to detail in Gran Turismo 4. though you can play this game with a regular DualShock controller, not even half of GT4 is experienced without a wheel. I hope that this video has given you budget-minded gamers that perhaps wanted a wheel but thought they were too expensive an alternative to the DualShock controller. And I hope that I've also shown that even though the Driving Force EX is a budget-priced wheel, it is definitely still a first-class wheel. Thank you to all of you who watch my videos, and I'll see you next time.